What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Out of Our League. My name is Gage. Joining me today, we have Kumail over to the left.
I'm definitely not part-time.
Sorry, it's Kumail H. I always forget to put that awful pronunciation of that letter. Down below...
Call you by my first name. I'll give you permission. I think we're friends now.
Down below Kumail, also known as loser of Game Sass, we have Bennett. Please be excited.
What's up? How did I lose Game Sass?
Oh, I'm in the middle.
And down, we have you in the bottom right-hand corner, Matt.
Right-hand corner. This way? Or this? I always forget. It's mirrored in Discord too, right?
Technically, I'm right above you.
Okay.
Whoa.
Down below we have
Hey, Gage.
Matt Batson. Finally joining us. How's it going today,
So happy
Matt?
to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course.
I feel honored, and now I honor you in return with my presence. So there we go.
It's win-win.
It was only a matter of time before we could get you on. We're trying to, obviously, as people know, we started this show to talk to people that are, hey, we're going to talk to members of Kind of Funny and stuff like that. But
it was all a ruse to begin with.
Yeah. There's plenty of people in the community that we feel have talents or skills that are also out of our league, which is why we kind of branched out. We brought people in, including yourself. So, yeah, it's great to have you here. Kumail, I will pass it over to you since I know you have to hard out fairly soon. So,
this is going to be an easy first question. Who is Matt fucking Batson?
That was my question.
In fact, it's the only question. We're just going to go around and everybody's going to ask and answer the same question.
No, really, who are you?
Great question.
Who are you?
I'm a guy on the internet sometimes. Just like yourselves, I make videos that are funny to some people and appreciate those people. What's that?
To people with humor.
Yes, to people with very refined taste of humor. But yeah, I just make dumb videos on Twitter. I'm a professional editor and camera-ish person for a local TV show in Atlanta called Atlanta Eats, but I'm about to be leaving that. So I'm about to be a freelance video person in the Atlanta area. And so, yeah, I just kind of do dumb stuff. I guess I should talk about like the things that I've been doing recently, since people might know that. I do the Dumb Sports Show, where I'll have different people in the Kind of Funny community or just cool people that I know come on, talk about sports memories, all that kind of stuff. It's like not a serious sports show at all. It's kind of the point, because none of us are serious sports people.
Can I ask, did you start that up as just trying to get Andy on, and you're like, all right, I'll get everyone else now? Did you go the simply sassy route?
Kind of. Like, I was like, for sure, like, I want Andy to be the first guest, but it was totally like cart before the horse type of thing, where I was like, oh shit, why did I just ask Andy now? Like, I have to make the graphics for this. I have to make like get my podcast like up on all these different websites and all that. And then the show ended up being more of a podcast when it was supposed to be more of like a more edited, like 30-minute thing. So, and that was literally because I was like, shit, like I just asked Andy way too early before I was ready to do any of this. But it's still a fun show, and I like all the guests that we're having on. And
I did like how you went, again, the simply sassy route of just stealing KFF stuff.
Yeah. Is it stealing if the show's dead now, right? Like, I mean, come on.
It was a dead body at that point.
I would say that we inherited it, you know? You guys inherited Photoshop challenges. I inherited the Super Bowl prediction bit. Yes.
It's like an estate sale, you know?
I have the papers right here, yeah. So I do that, and then also I somehow got wrapped up into the FCF, and I do unofficial reporting for the Wild Aces, the #1 franchise in sports history, who were just robbed of a victory last night, but we won't talk about that unless we want to talk about
it. That's a question. Next question.
What is an interception?
Sorry, was it an interception?
Oh, clearly. Like it was pretty crazy. Everybody on the sideline, of course, everybody on the sideline, just the players. Those are the people on the sidelines. They were all like going nuts. It seemed like nobody knew what was happening. It seemed like they were talking about it at one point, and then they were just like, oh, we can't talk about it. Moving on. Keep going.
And if you haven't seen the Wild Aces News Network that Matt puts out there, you've definitely got to check that out. They're hilarious, dude. That one yesterday of the interception definition, like there's something about your videos where they're hilarious right the way through, but they reach one particular point in your videos that just gets me so hard, dude. And that was just one of them there, and your previous one of just interviewing the Glacier Boys, where it's just the trash can that just had me just in hysterics, man. That's so good.
I like to go quantity over quality for sure. So there's at least like 20 okay jokes in there, and one of them will be perfect for you, whoever you are.
They always get me. That's so good.
What I like about your videos is I watch a lot of shitpost videos on YouTube, and there's always an element to them. It's just brilliant.
Mhm.
I've got to ask, in terms of your editing and video producing,
Mhm.
where did that start? Because of course, this morning I was looking back at your YouTube channel. I've seen all the stuff that Atlanta Eats and the newer stuff as well. But
Mhm.
where does this passion for video sort of producing come from?
I don't have the questions in front of me, but I'm pretty sure you just stole someone's question. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Whoever that is, was it McKenna? It might have been McKenna.
Probably McKenna. Yeah.
Okay, so just so she gets credit, because you just stole the question, just like the game got stolen.
I'm just all in front of you.
So it's funny. I took video production classes in high school, but I never meant to get anything out of it. I like switched districts, school districts between like elementary and middle. So I didn't have like a whole lot of friends. So going into high school, it's like, I'm just going to take this class because it seems like a fun, stupid way to spend time at a school. And never took any of that stuff seriously. There was one time where I did, and I was more interested in like the whole YouTube side of things, where I think more people there, and especially in college, were all like film people who were like, oh, I want to make movies and all that stuff. I watched like a lot of like Smosh, and I was like, I just want to make dumb
classic Smosh. Best thing ever. I'm so sad half those videos have been removed from YouTube. It's just
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Pokemon one, for example. I think the Mortal Kombat one I've got purged as well.
Just all like DMCA stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, anyways, like there was one time that I did make a serious video in high school, and it was a spin on kind of like Kasim G, like Ask Kasim, or not Ask Kasim. If you guys ever watch Kasim G, he would do these things on Venice Beach where he would just interview people, and he would just make them feel very uncomfortable, and it was never serious at all. So I basically ripped that off in high school, and I would walk around the cafeteria and I would interview people and never ask serious questions and just harass people basically. And they put it like on the school, like the morning news announcements thing. And it was really fun. I had a lot of fun. And then one of the girl who was the editor in our group, she left our group because she started dating somebody. And so she wanted to join his group. And then we never made another good video again. And until we had, this is weird how this turned into a story. Until
the stories,
there was this assignment that we got where we were supposed to make a sort of like hype video for our football game, like with this, with like one of our rivals or something. And we just totally used a template, thinking we could get away with it. We used a template, just put in some old like footage from like last year's game, and we're like, there we go. We turned it in like a week early. And our teacher's like, okay, you can't just do this. Like you have to do another, like we can run this, it's fine. But I know that this is a template, so you have to do another thing. So we had to make a video for homecoming. And we didn't make a video for homecoming. We just spent the whole week just fucking around, not doing anything. And then it came like due day, and we all watched our videos in class. And we liked to mess around with Photoshop a lot back then too. So I just had this Photoshop ready of a bunch of penguins, just photoshopped a bunch of tuxedos on it. Probably looked like shit because we just learned Photoshop. And I just wrote in Comic Sans, homecoming, 2011, 2012, whatever. It will be a chill time. And it's just it's just 5 seconds of that, and I put 2 eyes in Will by mistake.
Do you ever just look back and think, why did I do that?
and so we show that in front of the class, and then my teacher stands up and she says, this is the worst assignment anyone has ever turned in my class. it made everybody laugh. And I think I look back on that moment I'm telling the story because that was a moment that I was like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, is make people laugh by doing the dumbest things I can think of.
That's amazing.
So that's where it started. And I didn't realize that until college when I like actually took some video production classes. And again, I was there to make dumb shit while everybody around me was like, oh, have you seen Citizen Kane? So that's where all that started.
So you were going to go for the up-and-comer program before everything just went to shit.
Right.
But I think one of the things you said in your video is like you wanted to start making videos for the community. I think it's clearly obvious you've achieved that at this point.
Yeah.
So what's next for Matt Batson? Is it just continuing doing the same thing, or have you got something larger in mind?
I think it's continuing to do the same thing and being more consistent with it, because really I was just kind of about these projects. And so I would like post one video like every 3 months or something like that. If like a meme comes up that I want to make, basically I'll do that. But yeah, I think I need to just be more consistent with it. That's what I'd like to do. But it's just about like finding time and work-life balance and all that stuff. And with my job being something I enjoy doing, sometimes I can be super draining, where it's like, I do really like editing. I do really like shooting stuff, but I'm doing that at work. And then I come home and then I do it. And then when I go back to work, it makes me not want to do it at work. And then I come home and it makes me not want to do it at home. So it can get bad, but I enjoy it also. I'm trying to figure out that balance and just make more stuff.
Fair. Ben, sorry, did you want to chime in with your usual question?
Well, but before that, I might go to a question from Amanda, because that kind of ties in nicely to that. Amanda, the amazing Amanda on Twitter, she's great, writes, Matt, how do you organize your creation schedule and not become overwhelmed, distracted with new ideas as they come up? So that probably ties in nicely there.
I get totally overwhelmed. That's how I do it. I totally overwhelm myself. I shoot for the stars every time, and then I just like stop making stuff for like a month. That's how I do it. It's not good. It's not healthy. I'm still trying to figure that out. Right now, I think the biggest thing is just kind of like communication with like collaborating, because doing it alone is probably not a good thing, depending on like you have to understand your bandwidth. But I think that's been the best thing with coordinating and making sure I'm not even more overwhelmed, is talking to my guests or talking to, I'm working with Gino and I'm working with Ashley for the Wild Ace stuff now. So just talking to other people and having people you can rely on, I would say.
Shout out to Gino, my Final Fantasy 14 friend.
Yeah.
Ben, I think there was a question in the sort of other list of questions from one Kamal H. Do you want to read that one out?
Oh, I know that guy.
Kamal H writes, I don't know about this guy. It seems pretty shady. He's got a shady Twitter profile. I don't know. Maybe
do you think it's a bot? It's probably
a bot. Why do you think I'm wearing a cap indoors? I'm very shady.
Kamal H 725010101 writes, Matt, your videos are incredible. How long does editing take for them, especially on the ones with a lot of special effects, the Grabbler, Johnny Ace, the movie, and even the opening for the Dumb Sports Show? And also, keep up the great work.
Thank you. Nice, I appreciate that, Camille, whoever that is out there. Sounds really, really nice. It varies. I would say stuff like the Grabbler video and like the Johnny Ace video, like all of those ones that were part of my like up and comer push, those I did in the way that you should like study or do your homework as a kid. Like I would do a little bit this week, a little bit the next week, a little bit the next week, and it would be like a month of editing. But really, if I would have like crunched and tried to finish it all, I could have done it maybe within 1 week instead of a month. I don't know. That's probably pushing it even. The part of it is like factoring in burnout and all that stuff too. So those big ones took like a month just with spreading it out. And then stuff like the intros for the Dumb Sports Show, those I usually do in a day. It just depends on how the footage goes. So like this recent one with Joe and the first one with Andy, those were easier with the like NBA finals, like introductions and stuff like that. Those are a lot easier to find and steal and manipulate.
What we're using that.
Borrow. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. and manipulate a little bit. Exactly. Yeah. Tim Duncan told me I could use this. I promise.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then like Fogies, which was like the episode 2, it was harder for me to find like. It's funny. I don't know that there's any relation there. I should have asked what Fogey Bear, like what that comes. Oh no, because his name's Jeffrey Fogel, but I don't know why Fogey Bear. I don't know. No, I have not had Nick on. But with his intro, he wanted like a wrestling intro. And so looking through that one took a lot longer because I just fell down a rabbit hole of watching every wrestler's introduction from like the mid 2000s. But once I found enough like generic ones, it didn't take too long. So yeah, those are usually about a day, but all the bigger ones I try to spread out.
I think spreading out makes a lot more sense as well, because I'm like very amateur at editing and stuff like that. But I find whenever I rush something, when I like export it to like, oh, this is the final product, I look back at it, I'm like, oh god, this is not right, that's not right. And I think every time you can like eliminate the amount of mistakes you make when it comes to
the worst at that. What I used to do in school, and like even I think if you go back and you find my first like kind of funny YouTube video, which is just this edit of like Johnny Ace and Nick Scarpino to Hearts on Fire, it's pretty bad. Like there's parts that are good, but it's pretty bad, but I keep it up. That and things I used to do in school, I would edit them super late at night, and then it would be like 4 a.m. and I'm just like, shit, like I'm just going to export this and upload it immediately because I'm so tired and I just want to be done with it. And you're right. Like when you're doing that to yourself, it turns out worse, and you watch it literally hours later and you're like, why did I do this?
I've got another community question, Ben.
We do. Now, you might know this person, Matt. This one comes from Gino.
I don't know Gino. No idea who that is.
Okay. No Genos?
No Genos.
Gino writes, Matt, if you could play the game to flip a coin, heads, you'll get $50 million. Tails, you would die. Would you play? Discuss.
No. I would. I really thought about it when I saw it. And I think it depends on where I'm at in life. I think right now, no. I think I'm good. Maybe, in like 10 years, I don't know. We don't know where I'm at in 10 years. 10 years, maybe I'm saying
you're going to have $50 million, you're going to be living in a mansion,
But I could have 50 million more, You know what I mean?
It's true.
And also I need the rush of life or death situations in 10 years.
What is going on in your life at that
point? We won't get into that. You
just need a thrill.
And then 10 years ago, for sure, I would have played that game. Yeah, are you kidding me? What was I, 14 years old? Oh, yeah, I would have. So confident.
You just see the face where you like roll the wrong one. You're like, oh God, no. And then it's like
best out of three.
That's the other factor is like, how do I die in this situation? Like, is it immediately like lands, check it, and then just like collapse, or are they like, all right, like now you got to go to like the death room?
It's just like down the hallway,
like a 4 or 5 minute delay. So you think you've cheated it?
Yeah,
it's just like, oh man.
The Grim Reaper just
also want to know like
his pills that morning, so he's like super groggy. He's like, oh fuck, I gotta go kill this guy.
He's like, he did the coin thing. This guy did the coin thing. All right.
Atlanta? Shit, I thought I said Albuquerque.
He said tails never fails. No way.
Oh man.
Excellent question, whoever you are.
Matt, why don't you do stand-up is my next question.
Oh, I get horrible stage fright. I've thought about doing stand-up for a long time, but I think the only ways I get over stage fright is if I really commit to like a bit or a character. And so you might have seen, I posted it on Twitter. I think I was like super drunk, like a month ago, and it's my Discord icon, me in my Wolverine shirt. I don't know if you guys have seen me in my Wolverine shirt. So my idea for stand-up for a long time was that I was just going to stand on stage and wear that shirt and then just talk about the confidence that it gives me.
Well, and just like hope they laugh at the shirt and not
exactly, and not at me. Like I just go up with the jacket and I'm like, I'm just cough into the mic a little bit awkward, and then I just unzip the shirt.
I thought you were going to say you were going to do an entire set as Wolverine.
Oh, that'd be great too.
You know what? I'm gonna write that down. That's even better. Wolverine wearing a Wolverine shirt too.
Yeah, you can inherit that idea from Ben.
Rest in peace.
There'd be some great comic stuff that you could be like, I tried to shake someone's hand the other day, but I fucked it up with my blades. There's some great stand-up gold there,
Does this ever happen to you? You cut someone's hands off?
That's the next video you need to work on now.
Right.
Have you got really sharp nails? Do you need a solution?
The other stand-up gimmick I thought of one time was like can you guys hear that? That's my dog. Yep. She's crying. She's very upset. She doesn't like this idea. But the idea is like a good cop, bad cop for stand-up comedy. So it'd be like a 2-person thing.
Yes.
Which if I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm at like an open mic and 2 people go on the stage at the same time, I'm like, no, fuck no. Whatever they're about to do, like I'm out. But
they do that a lot in Japan. I think they call it the manzai routine, and it's so successful. I think you're onto something. Bring it to the West. It might work out.
I'll have to look into that. But yeah, it'd be like a good cop, bad cop thing where I don't know, maybe and that's literally the idea. I haven't thought any more through.
Nick to be your partner. It could be young cop, old cop.
Yeah, there we go. I think that's the alternative title for Time Cop, which Nick has seen because he's old.
Can I just say shout out to Nick for doing like the intro for Game Sass?
I was so
what he wanted. He can just like talk as much shit as he wants now. He's got everything he's wanted.
He went above and beyond with that trumpet piece because I gave him just the bass melody, just do this, and he winds up sending me like a 2-minute take of like 30 different variants of it, and I was like, okay, I can work with most of these. So I was able to add a couple layers on top of that, which was incredible.
When I watched all the way through and the credits were rolling and I wasn't fully paying attention to it, but I saw Nick's like name pop up and I was like, oh, like were they just like joking around? They just called like Robin Nick or something like that. And it was like music by Nick Scarpino. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
And then you guys put out the tweet and I was like, wow, okay. Yeah, no, that was fantastic.
Incredible.
It really captures, like a fun like game show type of music.
That was a pain to produce, by the way, because I did it all on here. So it's like I got it. And it's like, well, I better open up GarageBand and try to make it sound professional.
Right.
It actually worked out pretty well.
So Matt,
yeah,
Gage probably produces stuff on his phone. Ben does his Photoshops on his phone. Mm-hmm. How do you do your stuff?
So I've done the phone thing before, and it sucks. Editing on a phone sucks because I'm sure there's better phone editing software than iMovie. Better. It's called Better.
Yeah,
there's not.
Not only this for video editing. It's rough.
So like I edited like the Thanksgiving. I just took the Thanksgiving song from Andy and Nick, took the audio from that and put it to Creed, their halftime performance as the Cowboys. I did that on my phone and it took me like 2 hours. And it was like, it's such an easy thing to do, but every little movement on a phone just fucking sucks. It's just the worst.
Try to use touch controls to like cut or like scroll, anything like that. It's like half the time I'm trying to just shorten a clip and it just keeps moving the whole clip and I'm like, touching the edge. What are you doing? That's the worst.
But usually I edit on Final Cut Pro, which isn't like the standard anymore. That's what I learned in high school. And then they're like, this is outdated in college. So everybody used Adobe Creative Cloud and they used Premiere. And then when I got a job with Atlanteans, they're like, we use Final Cut Pro. And I was like, oh, okay. Nice. So I had to relearn that. And now I'm most comfortable with it. Yeah. Which kind of sucks because nobody else uses it.
Your next job is gonna be like, we don't use Final Cut Pro. Like, lock you out of the room.
We use Windows. They're like, you're not allowed to use Final Cut. Yeah, we only use Windows Movie Maker.
Just
Nickelodeon Movie Maker is what you use, you know.
You can't use Final Cut Pro, so he just gets penguins and tuxedos and presents it. Like, here you go.
I just send that for every job from now on.
That'd be amazing.
So, how long were you at Atlanta Eats for? And
sorry, I dropped my phone.
What sort of job are you looking for next?
So, I joined 2 years ago as an intern, and I was an intern for like 4 months, basically through the end of my semester till I graduated, and then they hired me full time. So full time, like technically 1.5 years, but I counted full 2 years because I don't know. They only treated me like an intern for like 1 month of it, and then I was like,
yeah, always the way of companies.
Yeah. So, what was the other part of the question?
Sorry, what do you want to do for your next job, really? So, if you can have one ideal thing to do, what would be the next step for you?
So the next step for me is to find out what the next step for me is. I'm excited to freelance. Like the freelance business for like film and television and all sorts of video production in Atlanta is huge. It's booming. Most of the people Atlanta uses are freelancers. Atlanta Eats uses are freelancers. So I'm pretty well connected with these people, and I look at them and I'm like, you guys like get a lot more experience doing different stuff. The money's better, and it's just a more varied. I'm just gonna keep saying type of work that they get. So I was never in love with like food shows and that sort of thing to begin with. It was just a cool internship that led to a job. So now I'd like to try, working on music videos and commercials and maybe TV stuff, maybe not film stuff. Those like two worlds are kind of different, and the people who work in them are very different. And I've worked a little bit with movie and TV stuff, and I don't know, just generally speaking, that I like those people as much as the music video commercial people. But as far as like specifics go, I'm one of the camera operators for Atlanta Eats, but in the broader scope of like Atlanta camera operators, I'm probably like total trash. Like I'm good with the specific camera that I have and the specific setup that I have. I'm confident that I'm really good with that. But the problem is, to be a camera operator, you have to be good with like everything and know how to set up every kind of thing. So yeah, the goal is like learning and finding out what I like to do pretty much.
Yeah, I guess with freelancing, you pick up all these different skills as well that will just serve you better for when you maybe want to go into like a full-time contract with the company.
Exactly.
Like
yeah. And friends and family, like they'll ask, they're like, so what are you gonna do? Like, do you have any work lined up? Do you like have any clients? And I'm like, no, you just kind of like, talk to people and they're like, hey, you want a job? So they're all totally freaking out, and maybe I'm freaking out a little bit, but I have some really good friends, and they helped me walk through this process of leaving the company and setting me up with stuff. So I'm excited for it.
Have any of them like come up to you and be like, "Oh, well, we're kind of getting married soon, so we need a cameraman for the wedding. You can do it, can't you?" And you have to, like,
no. I refuse to do weddings. I did my sister's wedding because she's my sister, but even then, like I did it for free because, again, she's my sister. But because I did it for free, I took like 4 months to like edit the video. and she's like, where's that video? I'm like, well, I get paid for my other job and like I'm really busy.
Yeah.
She's like, why are there penguins walking down the
aisle? She's like, this isn't my wedding at all. This is a wedding for penguins.
Oh Christ. Dear Lord.
I should probably ask my question now that I ask everyone, actually. So
Go for it. I'm ready.
So this is a tough one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Greg Miller, you might know him. He's obviously everywhere at all times. So the question that I ask everyone is, what is Greg Miller, and how is he able to be everywhere at all times?
You've gotten so many great answers on this question over the decades of the Out of Our League podcast.
So many.
And I would like to join the ranks, but I have to prove it. I have to earn it. And I've been thinking about this. And in the great grand simulation that we all live in, known as the Matrix, Greg Miller is a program installed by the powers that be. Now, what is he installed to do? We don't know for sure. He's kind of like the agent, Originally, it was to inform us about video game news, give us reviews and stuff like that. But lately, there's been one rogue Greg Miller who's corrupting all the other ones, and he's just raising insanity throughout the world. And I'm really scared. I don't know who the one is, in our world right now. But I hope that they stop Greg Miller before he takes us off.
That's an incredible answer. I love that.
Matt,
I'm gonna put that in the top three.
That sounds like a great video idea as well to work on.
just tons of Greg Millers in the rain, and they're just.
I'll message you in 4 months and ask you how you're getting on with that one.
I did do so. I have a student film that one day I'll release, but until that day, I'm too embarrassed to release it because it's so horrible. But like part of it, the reason why it's so horrible is because I was trying to be classic meta film student. I'm gonna make a bad movie on purpose. And in doing so, I made a bad movie about making a bad movie. And,
that's great.
Yeah, which is it's kind of like the modern like Icarus for like college students. They're like, no, I'm aware that I can't make a good movie, so I'll make a bad one. And it's even worse than you intended it to be. But part of the movie is that the students are making a shitty action movie, and one of the characters they rip off, or one of the things they rip off, is the Matrix. And so I do have experience with doing a very shitty effect where somebody like does the Agent Smith thing where they put the chest and they shake and then it transitions into the other guy. So maybe I'll just clip that part out and I'll just send it to you and you can throw it in right here.
Please do.
Well, hopefully that'll be by 2 hours, 2 hours time. I've got a question now. It's sort of inspired me, and I think this started on like last week's show. But is Kingdom Hearts 3 a good game?
I heard this question too, and I got nothing for you. All right, I want to say that it's the best game of all time. Maybe I think
that would be a bad take.
I think really, if you look deep within yourself. No, haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3. Have no interest in it. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 growing up. I really loved it. It was my introduction to the world of Final Fantasy. But as a dumbass kid, I got stuck on the Nightmare Before Christmas world because my TV was too dark. And so I literally couldn't walk around. Like I just saw Sora just in Goofy and Donald, and they're just standing in darkness and just like walking around with this Keyblade. Yeah. And I'm just running up against things and I'm like, I can't see anything in this world. I didn't know how to turn the brightness up on my TV. So I'm like, yep, that's the end of that. So
the Kingdom Hearts game is the worst because you've got the music constantly playing in your head and you're like, oh shit, I can't get it out of my head now. Especially the Alice in Wonderland level. That was a nightmare. Especially that theme.
That one is a nightmare. Yeah, but yeah, I remember the first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 and the original PS4 reveal, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I'm excited to get back into Kingdom Hearts. And I never did it because that was also when I was becoming more aware of the internet and of Kingdom Hearts fans in general. And I'm not going to say that they ruined it for me, but it's just the whole like, can you make sense of anything going on? And that just kind of was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just I was already late to this party, so I'm just gonna go back home, order pizza, chill out. I don't need this.
Square Enix are not giving games bad names. They're giving games convoluted storylines. That's what you need to know about Square Enix.
Yeah.
I guess this is a good jumping on point to maybe ask you, what is your favorite game? What games do you like playing?
I am a huge fan of the Persona series.
That is like yes! One of us.
You'll be very excited to see me. This is a little plug for the Dumb Sports Show on Monday, because you guys put these out quick. This is going up today or tomorrow. Yeah, okay.
Probably today.
So on Monday. The trick is I said today, so that could be any day. You think about it. That's true. So on Monday, February 22nd. The Dumb Sports Show episode with Afro Cyborg Joe Wilson will be going up, and we ended up recording for 3 hours because I had this dumb bit that was at the very end that turned into like longer than the actual segment, where he's also a huge Persona fan, and I was like, how can we talk about this in a sports setting? And so what I decided to do and convince him of is we were going to do a fantasy draft of Persona party members for a football team. So we're picking, we pick different, with my pick, I took Igus, and Igus is playing wide receiver for me.
Yeah.
So it's just all dumb stuff like that. So yeah, I love Persona. And
where was Teddy? Was Teddy a quarterback?
Teddy did not get drafted. Teddy was picked as a mascot. You know, this guy, he's got a big body, all right? He's got a nice frame to be an offensive lineman, but when you really think about it, he's too light. You know, people just knock him right over.
But think of it this way,
I don't think his heart is in the game. You know, he doesn't have a competitive spirit.
He's not a winner. He's not
a winner. So he's on the side.
No. Come on. Just tell him that the winners he gets to date Yukiko, and he's determined at that point. Because like with Teddy, he can just come out with a little bear costume, jump out, you know, and like, you know, if they tackles that way. So
you can pick him on your team, okay? You can pick him on your team, and we'll see who wins. For Teddy.
I don't want to hear like Matt Batson saying it was an interception when I win the game.
I think the audience would be happy with him as a bear, like as a mascot for the bear. But the moment you see a bear running on the field, you're like running out of that stadium. You're like, what the hell is going on? Let's get out of here.
The referee's unbearable.
Okay, maybe I'll take him.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
You should.
Everyone watch Matt's show.
I think that was excellent. I think that was.
Don't encourage.
I just like the idea of like you were wrapping
Don't
up the show
encourage
after 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you decided to do this persona drafting. It lasts for 2 more hours.
That's the funny thing. I'm pretty sure I say like I don't want to keep you for too much longer, and then we start doing that. The funniest part to me was that we also picked coaches because we were starting to think, you know, are you going to pick like Rise or Futaba or Fuka? Like, is anybody going to pick these support characters? And we're like, they'd be perfect head coaches. So Joe has Rise as his coach. And I'm like, that is like, just imagine like on the sidelines with the headset and the clipboard, Coach Rise.
Wait.
Oh no. What does he have? Okay, for audio listeners, he's grabbing something or someone. We're not sure. Oh, he's got Rise. He's got Coach Rise.
Perfect.
So yeah, all you need is the clipboard, and she's just out there, you know, calling plays for his team. And then I had Futaba as my coach. You know, I thought more of the strategist there, a little bit more competitive, more brutal, tough love, you know, for her team. So yeah, it was fun to just plan. Go ahead.
I just need to say like best girl for Persona 5.
I don't like to get wrapped up in this conversation because for me it changes like all the time. I understand all of them. I think Persona 5 has the best girls. I think like as a like together. So you know, I don't know that there's a bad pick in that crop.
You know,
and again, like I change like every playthrough. I'm like, you know, maybe this person. I'm also very much like a first person I see thing. So like the first playthrough, I romanced On because it was like On's the first person. She's cool. Yeah. And then I totally am just like, oh well, I'm committed to On. Like we are destined to be in love. So I will not choose a different person. So that's probably why. And the next playthrough, I'm like, oh, let's see what these scenes are like. So.
That sounds like me. I'm like, oh, Goth Doctor. She sounds cool.
Exactly.
The problem with Ben is he was just like, oh, Goth Doctor, and then he'd be like, okay, I'll come back to this game. It's been 3 years.
He's like, why do I have to like fight shadows? I just want to hang out with the Goth Doctor. What is this?
Exactly, dude. Bring out the Goth Doctor cut.
The Strikers just came out. They need more spin-offs. They need like Goth Doctor Simulator.
Persona football.
Yeah.
I would totally play that. That'd be great. I'm not going to Persona get a sports game.
Sorry, what did you say, Ben?
I said, why haven't we got a Persona sports game? That'd be incredible. Or have we?
I'm still waiting for Mario Strikers to come back.
Oh man, you and me both. But I don't know. It's a shame that it's just gone and there's like no signs of it coming back, you know? And it's the height of Mario sports games, easily.
It's weird. It's just weird. And like talking about, well, Nintendo, I think broadly, just what happened the other day for like Zelda. I think that Zelda's 35th anniversary is what, today? And they're like, oh, here's Skyward Sword. Deal with it. Like,
HD.
Oh my god!
Is this? I haven't caught up on that, but is that kind of like the Mario collection they did last year, where it's
still one game?
Have they gone back and put it in 4x3?
No.
They did very weird, like specific motion controls with it. They're like, you guys like love this game, you love the motion controls. Like, don't worry, we totally like revamped these motion controls are even better than before.
People love motion controls.
People love motion controls, man. Still waiting for Wii Sports Resort 2 to come back, but
one day,
one of these days.
What would be the Matt Batson get hype moment for a video game?
Wii Sports Resort 2. In all seriousness, I would absolutely play the shit out of a Wii Sports Resort 2. I love the sword fighting in that. Like, it was one of the most ridiculous things how they made Wii Sports packed in with every Wii. They're like, yeah, bowl with grandma, play baseball and do all that. And then Wii Sports Resort comes out and they're like, there is a volcano and there are 900 sword fighters protecting this volcano, and you have to fight through every last one of them. And I'm just like, what sport is this?
It's so like people dying in the background from the lava. You're like,
and it's weird. I only remember that one, and then I remember the jogging one, which they're like, yeah, put the remote in your pocket and jog in place, but don't jog too fast or your character will fall down. Like, I don't know what sports were in that. It was just jog or fight everyone at the volcano. That was what Wii Sports Resort was to me.
What I like is like you probably like jogging really fast. Wii controller comes out, you don't even realize. And you just,
exactly.
What's the point not going out?
There's no point in jogging if my me doesn't jog with me. But I think, like, honestly, I'm real excited for Skate 4 to come back. I'm excited to get skateboarding games to be back. That was a really fun, just super arcadey thing back in the day. Tony Hawk Remastered was great. Excited for Skate 4. I hate being super sportsy. Like, this isn't my thing, but then I started a sports show and I can't stop talking about sports. But like NFL Street and NBA Street, which I totally get why they'll never do NFL Street again, because that league is so obsessed with their image of being super pure, even though, they have players who have, I don't know, sexual assault allegations.
They brought Michael
and stuff.
Vick back, so
exactly, which like isn't even the worst out of like the people that they brought back and let in the league and still support. So, but they're super obsessed with their image where they're like, we won't let you like use, I don't know, Brett Favre, talking shit to your fat creative player or anything. We won't let that happen because that's not our league. But NBA Street, I think that could still happen. But who knows?
Are you an SSX fan at all?
I am. I haven't played enough of it. I used to play SSX Tricky a lot. One. So, but I didn't play any of the others. That was one, and I don't even think I owned it, but my best friend who lived, he was like pretty much my next door neighbor too. He had it, so we would go over there and we played that all the time. And my favorite part of that was Psycho Sid. Is it Psycho Sid, the dude with the spiky hair?
Yes.
He used to say, with one of his tricks, you would do it, and he would go, "Bite me." And so me and my friend, we'd hear that and we're like, oh, Sid's so cool. And then we run around his house going, "Bite me." And then his mom is like, "What did you just say?"
The only thing I remember about him is he had that one special move where he gets like his skateboard and like puts it around his neck constantly. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah.
God, his whole thing is he's like, I'm an insane person. Like some snowboarders, they're like, I'm from Brazil, I'm a gold medalist, skier. And then he's like, I'm crazy.
I've got an ASBO. Oh, God. Oh, so Matt, if you could collab with one person in history for a video, who would it be and why?
Wow. I don't know. The first name that popped in my head was Thomas Jefferson.
It'd be a great video.
And I was like, what would I?
Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably fuck with Thomas Jefferson a lot. I think that would be a good. You could really use anybody for that. Like, just steal somebody from the past and like do a Eric Andre style, just like put him on the street in New York and just fuck with him kind of video. I guess Thomas Jefferson would be good for that. In a more serious answer, let's think about this.
I'd totally go with Ben.
You totally go with Ben? I've already collaborated with Ben.
But it'd have to be in real life. So I'm like, Ben,
that's
I've
true.
got to get you on camera, my friend.
So,
this time.
So have you
it's
guys?
Like the end of Heroes. Like we have to reveal you to the world.
have you considered getting Ben a Muppet, and he can operate the Muppet on
That's
camera?
A great idea, man. How have I not thought of that?
So it doesn't have to look like you, or you can say that it looks like you, but you could be lying to us. And you just have the Muppet just on camera for this show. Gage, the look on Gage's face, he's like, "Why the fuck did you say that? I hate you."
We toyed around with the idea of getting a Guy Fawkes mask and just having that on. Like looking like an anonymous member.
No, I like the Muppet idea a lot more. It's a lot more elaborate. Yeah.
Just have to find a good Muppet maker.
I mean, search the local yellow pages, try and find someone.
Now that Ben's got a nice PC, we could technically try to set up some sort of software that would just silhouette his body like a true crime show, so we can see everything else, but he's just pitch black.
We want viewers, Gage. You know,
voice modulation and everything. People. So every time Ben talks, it's like, "What's up? I'm Ben." He's like, "What happened to Ben?" Like, "Oh, we gotta protect his identity. It's a witness protection."
Everyone's like, "We've heard Ben talk before." Like, you're not anything.
It all started back in 1977.
That just sounds like Bane. I'm from the farm.
Welcome to Out of Our League.
Oh, good. The other thing with Ben is like, do you remember those old cartoons where you see some characters, but you won't see their face? You'll see everything else but the face.
Mm-hmm.
Become,
Ben.
Yeah,
just the camera too low.
Yeah, just have the camera right on your torso. Mm-hmm. That'd be perfect.
Oh dear. Oh God, what has this descended into?
I don't know. It's been a shit show.
I think my last question before I have to go is: you've got a sports show now, a dumb sports show by your own words.
Very important. Yes,
I think it's really good though. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, is this you transitioning into being on camera more rather than being behind the scenes producing videos? Because usually, like with the I think the Johnny Aces Wimbledon video. I mean, you were there cameoing, but mostly you were doing the editing, getting other people to, contribute to the project. So are you looking to host a lot more, or are you just trying to get a balance between the two now?
I think a balance between the two. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of it, too, has just been with the pandemic and everything and quarantining and not wanting to bother people and, like, use people. And also, like, a lot of my friends who don't know like anything about Kind of Funny, they're just like, "Oh, that's that thing that Matt wears shirts of." And I tell him he's kind of funny, and then he like looks at me like he fucking hates me. So like I've had to be on camera more because I'm like, oh, I want to remake Nick Scarpino's Doritos commercial, but I don't want to like Gino lives close to me. I don't want to go bother Gino and his girlfriend. Thank you. This is Peach, by the way. I mentioned my dog earlier. Her name is Peach. She's in the Doritos video. Maybe that's what she's talking about. So yeah, like I've had to be on camera for this kind of stuff. And then yeah, like me doing the Wild Ace News Network, which I might have talked about it on a show already. It doesn't matter. You know, okay, she's very upset. Hold on just a second. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Gage, fill for me.
Okay, will do.
So okay,
are you kidding me?
Dude, I was like, I want to go into something, but what if I just stop and I don't fill time? That'd be perfect. Of course, you guys all know you're watching Out of Our League. If you haven't seen it yet, we just launched our new game show called Game Sass that we actually put out yesterday, Saturday the 20th, right? Yeah, the 20th. So go check that out if you haven't yet. We've also done plenty of episodes of Out of Our League. So if this is the first one you've seen, go to the channel, check out the rest of them. We had a lot of great guests on, and we've got a few more cool guests coming up in the future that we can't wait to share with you guys. So, yeah, stick around. That'd be pretty awesome.
Stick around. But back to regular scheduled programming. I think part of it, too, is that some of my ideas are so stupid that I just don't want to explain them to anybody. So I'm like, I guess I'm just going to do this myself. Like, if I don't want to tell anybody, like, I couldn't invite somebody like over and be like, hey, I need you to talk about this football game and then interview a trash can. So then I'm like, shit, I guess I gotta do it.
Ben was laughing so much about that trash can.
It was hilarious.
It was about the Glacier
It looks
Boys,
like you obviously
wasn't
do a bit of filming, like obviously outside, right, in the public. So do you get any interesting reactions when you're doing that? Any people walking past? Like,
no, for those at least, like at the stadium, the parking lot is huge, and so nobody's there because the stadium's only open for this, and it's not open to the public. So nobody sees. Although last night, when we were doing the last the Wild Ace News Network about how there was a robbery at Infinite Energy Arena. If you guys didn't hear about that, that happened. It was very sad. We. Myself and Ashley at It's Me Sombra on Twitter, you may know her. We were shooting the last update right in front of the sign, and just for spacing, she had to be a little bit in the road, and a delivery driver like almost hit us.
Oh wow!
So that was an interesting reaction. Jeez. Where he just kind of was driving up and we're clearly not moving. It's a pretty open road, and he just doesn't slow down until like the last second. And we're like, okay. Wow. I was like, yeah, like don't worry about the shot. Just like let's move. But yeah, other than that, not a lot of weird reactions. The weird thing, like what I do with Atlanta Eats a lot, is filming B-roll at restaurants, which means a lot of people eating. And so I get a lot of interactions in, because as you can imagine, people don't like to be filmed while they're eating. Yeah. And after doing it for a couple of years, and also I'm kind of on my way out the door, like I'll still work with them as a freelancer, but I have this confidence where I'm quitting basically. So people will be like, you're not allowed to film me. I'll be like, yes, I can. There's a sign on the door. And I just keep walking. And then my boss, she'll be like, you can't do that. Like, if they don't want to be filmed, just don't film. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Matt, big love to you. I'm going to head out. Love you all. And good luck with your show, Matt. Take it easy.
Thank you.
See you, Kamel. I got to
see
Kamel.
Who was that guy?
I know, right?
I don't know. Some dude. He always pops up when we don't want him to. It's strange.
Yeah. But he's a big fan of the show, I hear.
Yeah. I think he's a stalker
most of the time.
So
I've just got a couple of questions left for you, Matt, if you're ready. So
go for it.
First one is, are the kittens from your last video your kittens, or are they someone else's kittens?
They are stock footage kittens. I just downloaded some stock footage kittens. Very, very high budget production at Wild Ace News Network.
Nice.
Yeah. I wish I had that many kittens, but
so many kittens, dude. It was fantastic. I mean, those beasts have been working out, you know. Very muscular kittens.
For sure.
My next question is just about the FCF in general, and obviously your part that you've played in this. So I'd love to hear about your side of things, of everything that happened, obviously from you doing that initial video to them inviting you to the stadium. Yeah,
so I feel like I set up that I was about to talk about this and I got interrupted before, but
no, that's why we took him out of the school. Cool. Yeah.
But the whole reason I did the first video in the first place was because I was exporting an episode of Dumb Sports Show, and it was taking like a really long time, way longer than it was supposed to. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do this dumb video in the meantime. So I was glad I did that. But yeah, so I did that, and I think it was that night, Patrick, one of the co-founders of the league, DM'd me, and he said it's in the mail, because in the video I said the press pass must have gotten lost in the mail. So I was super confused. I was like, why is this man DMing me? What is in the mail? How does he have my address? And so I just DM'd him, and then he invited me to the game. And the first game, it's interesting now comparing week 1 and week 2. The first game was pretty crazy because it's a huge stadium, so it was totally empty except in the booth, like VIP area and stuff, because like Marshawn Lynch was there and Miro was there, but like a good bit of the owners were there, kind of a good bit. I guess it's still less than half, but a lot more than this time. Like it was a lot busier. So, and I never got to meet Patrick either. So the first time it was like showing up to a friend's house. He invited me over and he's not there. And so I'm just walking around. All these people are, I'm like, I know Patrick. They're like, yeah, they're like, bullshit. He's like in the commentary booth right now. But for the most part, since it is pretty much a bubble, they do rapid test you when you come in. Everybody who's there, like, you have to think that they're allowed to be there, because how else did they get in? So they all kind of treated me the same way. But for the most part, I'm walking around with a Johnny Ace headband and a camera and all this stuff. And they're just like, who is this guy? Like, what is he doing? So it felt like I was in trouble and going to get kicked out at any moment. And then last week, it was a lot more chill and there was like not that much going on. Yesterday, it was a lot more chill and I got to meet Patrick and stuff. So it was really cool. It's been super cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was so cool to see. Yeah, when I was watching the Kind of Funny one, I'm like, oh, it's our reporter Matt Batson on the sideline. Like, oh shit, I know him. in last night's broadcast, we sat like a lot further up than I did before. Before, I'm pretty sure you couldn't see me in any shot because I was always conveniently, like I was getting Mike Wazowski that was like conveniently behind a video board in every wide shot. But no, last night you could see us in like the top left corner of the screen. I was looking, I'm pretty sure there's him.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, maybe in Jose from the Aces Wild podcast, he was saying he was a little disappointed that we're not cheering and yelling as much. But like, again, like I'm just worried somebody's going to kick me out at any moment.
Yeah. That's awesome. What are your thoughts on the FCF as a whole? How have you been enjoying it?
It's been really cool. I think there is an unfortunate thing when we lose that I feel like the games are too short and it doesn't seem like the best team is winning because it's kind of just like who has the ball last. But at the same time, I love how short it is. Like it feels like just a shot of adrenaline, like of sports adrenaline. It's just like the game's over. There you go. And now you can go home. Now you can do what you want. You don't have to sit here for 4 hours of what could be a boring game. Like that's the best part, is that they haven't had a boring game yet.
It's so exciting. It's so great.
It's so exciting. And the 7-on-7 thing is really cool. It feels like you're watching like NFL Street or something. Having the walls there is cool. And again, though, it sucks when we lose, but the running quarterbacks, that does really annoy me right now, just because it's like, how can you stop it? Like there's literally, Peach is crying about it. He's literally the fastest person on the field, and like there's nothing around him. Like nobody's close to him at any time, so he can just do that whenever he wants. But so far, it's cool. It's been a lot cooler than I thought it would be.
Oh, it's awesome. And I mean, to put this in Kiwi terms for anyone listening from New Zealand or one of you, for me, it's kind of almost like rugby sevens, where there's normally 15 rugby players on a field. Then they have sevens, which is way faster. It's just 10-minute halves. It's so quick, so fast paced, and it's great. So I've been loving this kind of smaller format of obviously the football. So no, it's been awesome, dude. I've been loving it.
I love rugby sevens because of Mario versus Sonic at the Tokyo Olympic Games.
I was wanting to bring it up earlier when we were talking about sports games. I was like,
I think we've talked about that before. Like that alone, Cameron Kennedy was like tweeting the other day. He's like, should I get Mario and Sonic? and it's just kind of like, that's like a weird question to ask. I was like, if you like dumbass mini games, but I specifically said like rugby is the game. That's like rugby is so much fun in that.
That's so good. They should just do that separately and really double down on it and make
it just a cool game. That could be the new. Good. That could be like the new Strikers, and I'd be okay with it. Is
exactly
super fun.
You see fucking Mario just taking out Sonic. It's great.
as long as we get the Waluigi crotch chops.
Yes.
Back, like it does fit a bit more in rugby too than in soccer.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, I don't have too many more questions, but I did want to say once again a huge thank you for coming on the show. And I think me personally, the thing that sort of impressed me the most is how your editing has evolved over the years. And it's great to see you getting some recognition for all the work that you're actually putting in and being such a huge part of the community. So just want to say thanks for that, buddy.
I appreciate that so much. I mean, like all the same back at you, except you didn't evolve. You were always legendary at everything you do. So I appreciate being in your mystifying shadowy presence. And Gage, cool of you to be here too.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Dude, you should have seen my first Photoshop. It was horrifying, dude. It was so bad.
Have they gotten better, Ben?
Not really. No.
They're
just more prolific, you know.
all
it's just
horrifying, every single one of them. Oh man.
It's kind of like the jokes in my videos. Like Ben does enough Photoshops that you'll find one that is so good that you're like, he must be great at this.
Yeah. 1 in 100 hit, you know?
Exactly. And as long as you can keep having hundreds of them, you know,
yeah,
they'll never
just
notice.
Keep them going.
Awesome. Well, that was a pretty good episode. I think it's a good time to wrap up since that was a lot of questioning. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Questioning, same thing.
So, Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Matt S. Batson. I post stuff on there just kind of when I feel like it. And then, the Dumb Sports Show goes up on YouTube. I don't have a fancy URL, so you just have to figure that out for yourself if you want to see it. Shout out to Camille for shouting out my YouTube earlier today. Got me over 100. That Camille bump is real. So
yep.
There you go.
Also, shout out to Camille for losing Game Sass. Great.
That's true. You know, he's
getting raided by the police earlier this episode. That's why
he's traded wins and losses left and right. You never know, or not. Probably not, but he makes it exciting. You know,
definitely. Ben, where can people find you?
I am on the interwebs. Please be excited, just with the letter B. You can find me at Please Be Excited on Twitter. Please Be Excited on Twitch. You can find me on the latest episode, or the first pilot episode of Game Sass. So definitely check that out if you can. That was a great time. If you love game shows, check it out. If you want to see Robin GL just crush it with his arse knowledge, then definitely go and check that out. It's super impressive, honestly.
The funny part is he was winning the whole time, but it didn't feel like a domination until that point. Like it was like I didn't even realize he had the lead until we got to that point. It's like he gets every one of them and just keeps going.
Yeah. You can see the look on his face where it gets to that point where he's actually excited that he's winning, and then when he gets 3 or 4 questions into the Simply Assy, he's like, "Oh no, I should not be this good at this game."
The fact like he knew what the Spider-Man one was, and he waited. He was like, "I don't want to do this."
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was amazing. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Out of Our League. Like I said earlier, we do have quite a few awesome guests coming up in the future, and we've had plenty of, you know, awesome guests in the past. Plenty of them.
God. So many of them.
You had a lot of plenty of on this.
We've had a lot of plenty.
They were great guests, you know?
Yeah, great. So go check those out. Go check out everything Matt's been doing, especially all those amazing Aces Wild, Johnny Ace, Wild Aces, whatever you want to call them. They need to figure out the naming conventions because it's like confusing as hell.
I love how chaotic it is. I just love that there's so many.
I love watching their content, and they're calling them Wild Aces, but every once in a while they'll call them Aces Wild, and it's like not even they can get the names right. It's perfect.
Right. And like the hashtag that they voted on is just the name is Aces Wild backwards. So it's just like, what are we doing here?
So strange. Go check that out. And if you like this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the same bull crap that every other YouTuber says, because
if you don't like it, please just
still hit the like
leave.
button. We
just
need
put a ring on it.
We need the analytics, please. Please.
Open up 7 tabs.
Make alternate accounts. We need the views
exactly.
and subscriptions.
Just let them play. Walk away from your computer. Go to the library. Open them all up. Every episode of Out of Our League on each computer in the library. Is the library not open because of the pandemic? That's a good thing. I don't care. Break in. The internet's still on. They're still paying the bills. Turn the laptop on. Every episode.
The librarian's like, why are they talking about asses?
All right. We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.